Hello, everyone. And I can see that we are live. All of our participants have started trickling in. Thank you so much, everyone who's joining us on this wonderful day for this amazing presentation, which is brought to you by Loyola Marymount University. I can see quite a few participants who've started trickling in. So in the chat window, very quickly, if you can let me know which city are you dialing in from. This will serve as an audio and video test on our behalf. And also let us know where exactly are all of you coming in from. So very quickly in the chat window, if you could, all of you who are joining in can let us know which city you're dialing in from. So we have Josh from Goa. Oh, we also have someone who's Desmond from Accra, Ghana. Thank you so much, Desmond, for joining us. Some Urvashi from New Delhi, Derek also from Ghana, Sarah from Pune. We have James from Nairobi, Kenya, Akash from Bangalore. Anyone else who's dialing in from outside of India, please do let us know in the chat window. And yes, amazing. Haider from Lahore, Pakistan. So thank you, all of you, for joining us this today. As I mentioned, we have a very, very interesting and insightful masterclass, which is brought to you by Loyola Marymount University. I am going to go into a little bit more detail about very little bit of a detail about what this topic is about, what are we going to be speaking about today. So without taking much time, we have the very interesting masterclass, the topic of which is digital transformation with cutting edge technologies. As I said, this masterclass is brought to you by LMU, which is a private high research activity university located in Los Angeles, California. So all of you in this audience who are California dreaming, this is the right university for you to consider. In today's masterclass, a very, very exciting topic. We are going to be talking, or the panel is going to be talking about LMU's focus, which is on teaching students practical skills from working with information technologies in today's data-rich, technology-driven world. So I'm going to quickly begin by introducing who all are on the panel today. My name is Sabahat Herzog. I am with Seed Global Education. We are a UK headquartered company which facilitates such interactions between international universities and students like yourself who are looking to study abroad, giving you a chance to get a taste of what these universities have to offer and helping you in making well-informed decisions about your career. Joining me on the panel today is Dr. Mangal, who is currently a clinical associate professor of information systems and business analytics and the academic co-director of the MS in Business Analytics program at Loyola Marymount University. Her industry experience includes Intel Corporation, Tata Group, AE Business Solutions Consulting, and she holds a master's and a PhD in Management Information Systems from Carnegie Mellon University. Thank you so much, Dr. Mangal, for joining us today. Along with Dr. Mangal, we also have Emily, who is the Assistant Director of Graduate Recruitment at Loyola Marymount University and has over 7 years of admission work-related experience. She is your go-to person to get in touch with for all of your queries regarding admissions, scholarship, AFI waivers, what the LMU study experience is all about. Before we get started with today's masterclass, I am going to be running a quick poll question, which will be live on your screen in a bit. If you could just cast your votes and let us know what you think about this. So I am going to be starting by launching our first poll question for this evening. If you can all look up at your screen, which cutting edge technology do you think will have the most significant impact on shaping the future? Do you think it's artificial intelligence? Do you think it's blockchain? Is it the Internet of Things, IoT, 5G connectivity, or all of these factors? Or are you someone who's attending this masterclass to know a little bit more, to learn a little bit more about your subject, about this topic, about this subject? So all of you who have participated, if you can just quickly go and cast your votes. I am going to be keeping the voting window open for a couple of more seconds before I close it. I can see quite a few of you who have already started answering. We have over 250 participants in the room as of now. So if all of you could just go and cast your votes, I'm going to keep the poll live for a couple of more seconds. I think, yes, most of you have casted your votes. So I am going to go and announce the results and share the results with everyone. Great. So the results are on our screen. Well, there is a tie between people who think it's going to be artificial intelligence and people who think It is going to be all of these five things together. I am not the expert on this, but I am now going to hand it over to Dr. Mangal to please go ahead with her presentation and enlighten us with this wonderful masterclass.
Thank you, Sabat, for having me. And thank you for Seed Global for inviting us at LMU to join you and your students, to your participants, to present, to make a presentation. I'm going to share my screen. Bear with me while I do that. Okay, here we go. And as Sabah had mentioned, the topic on which I will be talking today is digital transformation with cutting-edge technologies. This is a class that I teach for graduate students. Can you all see my screen?
Okay. Yes, Dr. Mangal, we can. You can go ahead.
Thank you. This is a class that I teach for all graduate students at the business school at LMU. This year, for instance, in my class, I have MS in business analytics students, but I also have MS in accounting students and MBA. So a good group, interesting mix of students in the class who all want to learn about this topic. Since the class is titled Digital Transformation, let's start with digital transformation. And let me start with the story. So in about 20 years ago or so, which is a long time back, the music sector used to be a physical sector. We used to either listen to music on LPs, or we used to listen to them on videotapes, or we used to listen to them on CDs. But in about the early 2000s, something called Napster came about. And with that, people had the ability suddenly to download music for free. And I remember a session where I had music bigwigs talking to each other, trying to figure out what to do about this sudden disruption that had happened in the music sector. And the result of that is a complete digital disruption in the music sector. So I've put together a before and after of the digital disruption, digital transformation in the music sector. So on the left-hand side, you see the value chain for the music sector before digital transformation and before all the disruption with the internet, and further, even newer technologies came about. So you see that this has artists communicating with the studios. So essentially, the studios were the big gorillas. They were the ones through which everything was managed and marketed and distributed. And finally, this information was sent to the consumers. So people who were interested in music could get it from the studios. Now, to the right, I have an after picture, which is probably more familiar to all of us today. We still have the artists, but you see that the studios, the number of studios has shrunk. There has suddenly been M&A in the music sector in terms of the studios. There are few studios. Not just that, the role of the studios has also shrunk, and you see that there is a new role that has appeared where distribution is happening by separate entities. So this can be either brick and mortar retail, so it can be through retail shops, or it can be online retail such as Amazon, where people can choose to either purchase music, physical music through online retail, or download music. And finally, what we are all most familiar with is streaming. So whether you use Spotify or you use another service to listen to your music, so many of us are streaming music today as consumers. So music sector, one of the first sectors to disrupt and digitally transform. And here you see the before and the after in the music sector. Okay, this is about the entire music sector. Let's talk about a corporation, one particular company. The one that comes to mind is Walmart for a few reasons. One, it's a company that is about 60 years old. It was established in 1962 and continues to operate at the same level continues to be the same powerful retail organization that it was that many years ago, about 60 years ago. And what has caused that to happen? Essentially, because in spite of the disruption in the retail sector where Walmart competes in, the sector that Walmart competes in, it has continued to digitally transform. That's the story of its success. That's the reason that a company that's so old continues to exist. What it has done is it's reinvented its business model from a brick and mortar or a store-based model to customer-centric, very important in today's digital climate. And second, e-commerce based. So now it has a presence in stores, online, as well as mobile. That's the reason for Walmart to continue to be successful. Look at the visuals on the right. Why was it necessary? It was necessary for a company like Walmart to digitally transform one, because there were new technologies that were coming in. But I would say the biggest reason was Amazon. Amazon completely changed the way retail was done. And if Walmart did not digitally transform, it would not be able to continue to exist. It would go bankrupt like many of its other competitors did in retail. Changing consumer behaviors. You and I are looking for digital experiences that make our life easy. We want to be shopping online. We don't necessarily want to be going to stores to buy our daily purpose items, for example, soaps and cans to store things in that we can look online. So changing consumer behaviors, but also reaching new customers. So I don't have a Walmart close to my home, and that was not a store that I would shop at. But now that Walmart is offering e-commerce, online delivery, in 2-day delivery, even 1-day delivery to stay competitive against Amazon, I am a customer that Walmart is able to reach out to. So it's one new customers. So what's driving Walmart's digital transformation? Of course, new technologies, but also investing in data analytics. Today, data is king. Everything is based on data and what the data is telling an organization. Third, focus on mobile. We are all doing business on mobile, whether it's work or it's lifestyle. Our life revolves around these mobile devices. And therefore, it's important for a store like Walmart to be able to have a strong mobile presence. All right. So now that you have an understanding of the music sector and how it has digitally transformed to continue to exist, and similarly about a corporation like Walmart, how a 60-year-old corporation has continued to survive and thrive, let's talk about, so what is digital transformation? To understand what digital transformation is, we want to understand digitization and digitalization. I put these on this pyramid-like structure. At the bottom, the lowest rung is digitization. Digitization is essentially taking all the data that's been generated, whether it's through sensors or through voice, through text, through video, all of this data that is being collected and converted to digital. That's digitization, essentially converting all of the data to digital. Next is digitalization. This is not just adoption or digitization of data. The next step is going to be, how does the business need to change for this data to have an effect or impact in the organization? So the second step is digitalization, which is all about business changing as these new technologies are being adopted and digitization is brought about. This helps the organization to save money. Once digitization and digitalization are done, then comes digital transformation. Digital transformation helps an organization not just to save money, but to actually make more money. How does that happen? One of the main ways it happens is it gives the business the opportunity to introduce new products and new services, but also reach out to new consumers to create new business markets. That's what digital transformation is all about. Taking the organization from where it currently is and helping it make even more money, do even more, do even better, reach out to even more users and consumers. Okay. Now that you understand what digital transformation is, let me take you a bit further into what needs to be done for digital transformation to happen. Emerging technologies or cutting edge technologies are a given, and we're going to talk much more about those today. But just by introducing or adopting new technologies, a business cannot digitally transform. The business also needs to change, and it needs to change in multiple ways. One, the business processes need to change. They need to become simple, and they need to be modified so that employees and customers actually use these technologies. In my last job, I was doing research on which gave me the opportunity to talk to chief information officers or CIOs. This research project is called BIT, or Business and Information Technologies. We've published 4 books as part of this research project, and it was actually a global research project where we were partnering with 21 academic institutions in 17 countries. When I talked to chief information officers as part of that study, what many of them told me was they would spend millions of dollars to implement a new technology, but they found that when it was implemented, the users would not use the technology. Why? Because the business processes were not changed to correspond to the technology. So users did not find it easier or intuitive to use this new technology. So those millions of dollars would actually go to waste. So it's very important for a business to have to improve its business processes. Next, the business needs to also shift culturally. And what I mean by that is the business really needs to have a mindset of innovation and allowing their employees to think that they can innovate, and as they innovate, they can fail. They are allowed to fail. So Google, for instance, has a project called 20% Project. As part of that, employees are allowed to spend 1/5 of their paid time to do something that they would like to investigate, or they would like to pursue. And what they are advised by the founders of Google to do is make this something that will be beneficial to Google. So AdSense, which came about from by a person called Susan Wojcicki, who was on my board in my last role, was also the CEO of YouTube, was working on this 20% project when she came up with the idea of AdSense. And same thing, Gmail was another outcome of this 20% project. So very important for organizations to be having this culture shift where they are thinking about innovation and having their employees think about innovation, having that mindset. And third is business models. So business models need to change to digital business models. 2 things are important here. One is the move from product to product service, or just to service. So this is called servitization. So an example of that is you go to buy a car. Either you could buy the car that you want, or in addition to that, your car company can also offer you a service, such as I'm going to offer you financing when you buy the car from me, or insurance when you buy the car from me. So that's servitization. It's product plus service. On the other hand, there's also the move of just service, which is Uber kind of model, where you don't really purchase or own the automobile, but instead you just use the service. So there's the move of business model change to digital business models, where it's moving from a product mindset to product service or service mindset, and it's called servitization. Okay, so these four need to come together for digital transformation to happen in an organization or in the entire sector. These are the four pillars of digital transformation. These come from Microsoft. The four aspects that are important to happen is when you see digital transformation. Most importantly, in my mind, is engagement with customers. Today, with digital experiences, it's all about delighting customers, engaging with them, giving them the experiences that they are looking for. So topmost in my mind. Next, transforming products and services. So changing the products to be what makes life easier for the consumers, what will make them use your products and services, what will bring you more consumers, more users. So that's second. Third is optimization of operations, making operations streamlined, supply chains, inventory, manufacturing, all of that. And finally, it's empowerment of employees, essentially empowering employees so they can work the way that they want to work, okay, giving them some autonomous, some kind of autonomy to be able to do their work. Okay, so these are the four pillars of digital transformation. So far, what I've been talking to you about is a sector where digital transformation has happened, a corporation where digital transformation has happened. So what is digital transformation? What does it entail? Changes in four aspects. And then finally, what are the four pillars of digital transformation? We just talked about that on the previous slide. From here onwards, since the class is titled Digital Transformation with Cutting Edge Technologies, I'm going to focus on the second aspect, which is cutting edge technologies. So in my class, I introduce four cutting edge technologies. The first is AI. It aligns with your responses to the survey that was just put up. Second is immersive technologies. So these include virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality. Third is cloud. We're all using cloud. If we use Gmail or any kind of email on the cloud, we're all using cloud. Fourth is the Internet of Things. It's all about sensors. Last, robotic process automation. So essentially creating software robots. So these are the five cutting edge technologies that I cover in my class. The list of cutting edge technologies is much larger than that, larger than the list that I have put up. But these are five that I have chosen to cover in my class. So in the rest of this class, I'm going to briefly, or this masterclass, I'm going to briefly introduce two of these technologies to you. The first is AI, artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? It's essentially computers doing, or machines doing the job of humans, essentially simulating human intelligence. They're doing what humans use intelligence to perform. That's AI, artificial intelligence. Okay. The tasks that are included are four. First is sense. So think about your five senses. Essentially, machines are able to see, they are able to hear, they are able to process images, so on and so forth, recognize sounds. So all of these that are mentioned here. Let's take a couple examples of sensing. One of those could be the Amazon Echo, which you may have in your home, and you just speak and the machine senses that you are speaking. Similarly, if you share an image, the machine senses that you're sharing an image. Okay, so this is the first one, sense. Second, it takes data, analyzes it, adds insights. So when you're driving your car, oftentimes you'll see that your wipers sense that there is rain. And they also sense how much rain there is. And based on that, the speed of the wiper is determined. So all of these come into play. It collects the data, it analyzes and makes the decision based on that. Second. Third is act. all of us are using or are in, part of ACT, which is if you're using any kind of content system such as Amazon Prime, you're watching videos on Amazon Prime, Netflix, any of these, you come across recommendation engines. What do? They take action in the physical world. They essentially figure out what is the content that you are watching. Based on that, they make recommendations on what is the next kind of content you would like to watch. So that's the acting part of it. And finally, the learning part, which is the highest level. For learning, there is training data that is given to computers. They learn based on that training data. So essentially, they continue to become smarter and smarter. And you will see this, for example, when I use Google Voice for typing, I find that it is able to understand my accent better and better. Similarly, my handwriting, it's able to understand my handwriting better and better. Technology is able to, or machines are able to understand my handwriting better and better. Okay, so these are the 4 tasks that are included in AI. In my class, I also covered generative AI. OpenAI with ChatGPT. By the way, today is the first anniversary of ChatGPT, and we've all been using ChatGPT for a year now. It essentially brought home to us how much, how close AI is to us and how accessible it is to us. So in my class, I had my students use ChatGPT. You see pictures from my classroom. My students are sitting in the corner here. And what we did was we gave them a riddle to solve using ChatGPT. Because what's important for large language models and chatbots like ChatGPT is how you prompt them. You can use ChatGPT and come up with results, but those results may not be what you're looking for. So by the way, prompt engineering is becoming a brand new career path, which in today's world, one can get hefty salaries if one becomes a prompt engineer. But that's what we did in the class. I asked my students to come to solve this riddle using prompts, and that will help them solve these riddles very fast, very quickly. And we had them work in groups. One of the 3 groups was able to solve the puzzle very, very quickly. So they were obviously using the right prompts. Okay, so generative AI. Now, since I introduced them to a chatbot, generative AI chatbot, I also wanted to teach them how to create their own chatbot. So here I used a no-code platform called TARS, Hello TARS, and they created a very simple chatbot. Essentially, this is for car insurance lead generation. So what they did was they asked the user, so essentially the machine, the chatbot asked the user, what's your name? The user would enter their name. Then they asked the user, are you a first-time car buyer? If the user said yes, then it said, the machine responded by saying, sorry, we do not provide insurance to first-time car buyers. If the user responded with no, then the machine said, give me your email and I will send you information. And that was it. So very simple chatbot that was created, and the students tested it out, integrated it with Google Sheets. So they've created their very own chatbot using a no-code platform. All right. So AI, what is AI? What does it do? Generative AI, which is the popularly used form today, and students creating their very own chatbot. Okay. The next technology that I want to introduce you to is immersive technologies. What are immersive technologies? These are technologies that create or extend reality by immersing the user in digital environments. What does it mean? Either a user is completely immersed in a digital environment, or partially partially immersed in the digital environment, which means that partly the user is in the real world or in reality, and then partly the user is immersed in the digital or virtual environment. Okay, let's understand what the differences are between these. Here I have a visual which is describing, which gives us a brief introduction to what these various immersive technologies are. Let's start with reality to ground ourselves. What do I mean by reality? The definition is it's real world experienced with our senses. So if we are thinking about the LMU campus, Loyola Marymount University campus, then we think about being in the actual classroom or being on campus. That is reality. And what is the concept here? Essentially, there is the physical co-presence in the classroom of faculty, so professors or students or devices that we are going to be using. Okay, so now that we've understood what reality is, let's look at what is AR, augmented reality, VR, virtual reality, and MR, mixed reality. So we have AR, which is augmented reality. And this essentially, the definition is information and data overlaid on the real world. So in augmented reality, we continue to be in the real world, in reality, but we can augment the real world with virtual information. Let's take an example. Suppose you're walking around on the LMU campus and you're outside a building. You can take your smartphone and you can, using an app, you can point it at a building. What will happen is that your app will augment reality and provide you information about the building. So for example, we are in the Hilton Business Center. The business school is in the Hilton Business Center. And so if I point my smartphone and I'm using the right app, then it'll provide me information about the Hilton Business Center, for saying information such as this is where the business school students study, this is the number of students, this is when the business school was established, so on and so forth. And what does it do? It adds utility to physical co-presence. What do I mean by that? Essentially, I can get additional information about the physical structure or physical element that I am looking to learn more about. Okay, so as the name implies, essentially reality is augmented by augmented reality. Okay, next we have virtual reality. As the name implies, it's completely virtual. So it's completely digital representation of the real world. So if you take a virtual image of the LMU campus, that's virtual reality. Example or key concept here is that it enables the perceived presence and full emotion. Essentially, you're fully immersed in this reality of LMU, but it's fully digital, it's fully virtual. Okay, so that's virtual reality. And last is mixed reality, which is actually a combination of AR and VR. Mixed reality is the introduction of virtual elements into the real world. So, for example, if you were to take the campus classroom, the virtual campus classroom, and introduce lab gear to see how it will look like in the classroom, that is what is mixed reality. Another situation is if you're looking at furniture, to buy furniture for your home, you may take a picture of the furniture and place it in a picture, or take a picture of your home, of your room, and place it in an app, and that will show you how with the furniture your room will look like. Same thing. That's mixed reality. So what are you doing? You're adapting actual scenarios. So essentially, these are all immersive technologies which give you different levels of reality based on whether it's AR, VR, or MR. So I had my students work on virtual reality. These are pictures from my classroom. Students in my classroom were able to wear these Oculus VR headsets that are from Meta, and they were able to be in the virtual world. At the graphic below is the virtual world. We put them in a virtual world called Spatial. It was really interesting. One of the students introduced a dog, an object, which is a dog, into this virtual environment. Another student stole it. Students worked together. They were given, you can see a PowerPoint slide at the back of this virtual environment. So they were given activities that they worked on. So they collaborated, they performed activities together, all in this virtual environment, wearing these virtual headsets. In addition to that, we also took them into the virtual enterprise. And this was an LMU 360 tour. I'm going to, you will not get the 360 experience, but I'm going to play it to see if to give you some experience of it. So I'm going to stop sharing this, switch to that screen, and see if we can take you into this virtual world. Here we go. Okay, this is the LMU campus. You may not be hearing, but you can see that this is a virtual view taken with the 360 camera of the Loyola Marymount University campus, which is what my students worked with as they wore those VR headsets. So these are students walking on the campus. And now they're at the Fritz Burns Center, which is the student center. Okay. So hopefully this is a brief introduction to my class, which is digital transformation with cutting edge technologies. And you got a little bit of a taste for what is digital transformation, and then what are some of the cutting edge technologies that I'm teaching in my class. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Mangal. That was very insightful. And I can see a lot of people have gone ahead and posted their questions as well with regards to this. So I know we discussed earlier on in the session that you are going to be available to take the questions now. So I am going to take a few of these questions which the students have posted, and uh, you could answer these. Let's begin by taking the first one, which is by Sabrina, who says that doesn't making all services technology enabled completely remove the personal touch that humans can bring? She's personally tired of getting responses from chatbots and banking websites and other service apps that don't understand the issue and keep repeating the same nonsensical responses time and again. So what is your take on that, doctor?
Really interesting question and very appropriate, because I feel the same way with talking to IVR technology. It is frustrating. I just want to get to a human and keep pressing the zeros that I've been advised to press. So we are at the point where we will be in a world where humans and machines will be working together seamlessly. It's already happening, where robots are working together with people in warehouses to be able to make that experience seamless. So what we are heading towards is not taking the humans out of the picture or out of the experience, but making that human machine interaction seamless and simplified so that the consumer experience, so the user experience, is improved. We're obviously not there yet.
Great. I hope, Sabrina, that answers your question. We've got another question from Richard, who wants to know what measures are being taken to ensure data privacy and security measures are really in place because of this entire concern, which is And I'm sure it's a concern for all of us out there that all of these ticks that we put when we are accepting or downloading apps, etc. So, do you really think that the measures which are being taken because of this digital transformation, the initiatives which are happening, is it something which is a cause of concern, or no? Is that something that digitalization will sort of take care of?
Privacy is a major concern. Security, privacy are two major concerns with so much digitization happening. In the early days, the digitization was happening primarily from businesses, where businesses were digitizing their data. But with the internet, and especially with social media, things have changed. So we as consumers or users are now willingly providing our information. So it becomes even more and more important for measures to be put into place so that privacy is taken care of. Again, we are not there yet in any way, shape, or form. There are policies being, so GDPR, for example, Europe is much more concerned about privacy regulations. And so GDPR, EU GDPR is all about that. United States is again headed in that direction with privacy measures being put into place. Individual corporations like Apple, for instance, is putting in their own measures into place. So in addition to policymakers and countries, there also need to be corporations that are putting these measures into place so that their consumers and users continue to do business with them. To answer your question, it's a top concern for regulators as well as corporations, but it's a work in progress.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm sure that has been a question on most of our minds, but thank you for answering that. Another very interesting question from Suleiman is, because of all of this advancement in technology, right? Is there any more difference between artificial intelligence and robotic automation, or are they used synonymously? Like a lot of people out there, tend to think it's the same thing. So I think that is a major misconcept, or the right sort of concept. If you can shed a little bit of light over that, Doctor.
So AI is overarching, essentially machines behaving like humans, right? This can be in the capacity of production, or it can be in the capacity of it can be in the capacity of blue collar jobs. It can be in the capacity of white collar jobs. When we talk about robotic process automation, we are focusing on the latter. We are focusing on building software robots for doing white collar jobs, essentially knowledge worker jobs, things that you, if you're headed for graduate school, are probably going to end up doing.
Great. To sort of add on to that question, another concern which has been going around, and I'm sure you have heard this from a lot of people, with artificial intelligence sort of getting better and better, do you think it is going to have a direct impact, or how much is it going to impact human employment rates across the world?
Big question. I have to answer by saying that I have seen during my over 20 years experience working in the field of technology, business and technology, each time there is a new technology, we have similar concerns coming up. Each time. What I have seen happening is each time the current jobs get automated and oftentimes are replaced by technologies, but the new technology generates new jobs. So my recommendation to everybody has been that as you are going into school, as you're looking to create your career paths, is to one, think about a career path which will not get automated with AI, one. Two, think about lifelong learning. Just because you're done with school, don't think that that is the end of learning. continue to learn the new technologies that will continue to come about. After AI, there will be a new technology, say 5 years down the line. So continue to stay on that path where you are on the other side of using the technology, as opposed to playing a role where your role gets automated with technology.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Doctor. Uh, with regards to the same question again, sort of building on to that, another set of questions which a few people have asked is what are the career options that one can consider in the field of AI?
Tremendous options, tremendous opportunities in the field of AI, in the field of AI and technology in general. Depending upon what your interest is. The most obvious answer is programming, coding, although take that with a pinch of salt, because with generative AI, also doing more and more coding, that role will also be changing. It will not go away, but it will continue to evolve. It may become a role where coders are more experts, and they are managing the AI to come up with the right code. So stay on top of that if you are planning to go into a coding career, if you're planning to do that. Data is strong, will continue to stay strong. So anything to do with data analytics is going to continue to play a key role. You cannot go wrong with that. The next few roles are sort of staying with technology and AI, but on the outskirts. So bringing your business domain expertise. So whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're an accountant, whether you are a marketing specialist, bringing your domain expertise, but knowing enough about technologies that are used in your sector, so that your jobs, or your roles, you are playing the roles that will be relevant. So I can talk to you about some of the roles. So for example, project manager roles, if you're a domain expert and you understand and know enough about technologies such as AI, those roles are going to continue to stay. People who are doing analysis of those domains, who are doing testing of those domains, those roles are going to continue to stay. So continue to be the domain expert, but learn enough about technology. Let me give you an example here. Publishing, I shared with you the music sector. Publishing was the first sector to actually get disrupted. And when we were starting our study in 20 years ago, as I was mentioning, in the early 2000s, we were looking at publishing when, publications like LA Times and others they were shrinking. People were not subscribing to publications in print because they could get their news online for free in real time. So what was happening was people who were leaders in publishing were let go. They were losing their jobs. So what they did was they took on these reverse internships with people who were recent graduates, because they knew about the technology part of it. So they were able to combine the domain expertise with the latest technologies. And that's how they were able to retain their jobs. So that's what I would advise you to do in terms of where do you fit in AI, where do you fit with other technologies, and retain your domain expertise.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Mangal. I can see there are quite a few more questions. Unfortunately, due to shortage of time, we are going to wait. I request everyone in the audience to please stay tuned. Emily is now going to be talking more about what are the programs and the career options, scholarships, etc., that LMU has to offer. So I request everyone to stay back. At the same time, I would like to thank Dr. Mangal for her time, for her wonderful insights. If there's anything, Dr. Mangal, that you wish to share with the audience before you hop off, please go ahead.
Just wanted to thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure, and good luck to everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I would request everyone to stay tuned for our next set. What I am going to do is, before Emily comes back online, I'm going to quickly launch a second poll question for this evening. It is now live on the screens in front of you. If all of you can just have a quick look at your screen and let us know which of the following master's programs are you keen to pursue. Are you someone who's looking to do an MS in a master's in civil engineering, computer science, electrical engineering, environmental science, mechanical engineering? Please cast your votes and let us know. And I can see quite a few questions about career services, etc., about LMU, which a lot of you have posted. We are going to be taking them up shortly. So stay tuned. In the meantime, if you can just quickly go ahead and cast your votes, I am going to keep the poll running for a few more seconds before ending it. So I am going to now end the poll and cast the votes and share the results with everyone on the screen. So a majority is looking at computer science, followed by other topics. So yeah, I now hand it over to Emily, who can talk to us in more detail about the programs and offerings for Loyola Marymount University.
Hello, everyone. Once again, thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to be with us. We really appreciate it. We're so excited to be able to share the coursework and the curriculum and the education we are teaching our students here at LMU with you. So as said, my name is Emily Agnello. I am the Assistant Director of Graduate Recruitment at LMU. So I do work with all of our 50 plus graduate programs, but I am here to share more information and really about our STEM designated programs with you. Okay. There we go. So a little bit about LMU as a whole. So we are Loyola Marymount University. We were founded in 1911. So we have been around for a long time now. We are located in Los Angeles, California. We are a private R2 institution, so we are doing a lot of research on our campus. We have everything from undergraduate students to master students to doctoral students on our campus. We have 50 plus graduate programs in all different disciplines. So as you can see there, we have colleges that focus in liberal arts, business administration, communications and fine arts, film and television, education, law, and science and engineering. So I know we're going to speak a lot about our STEM designated programs, but across campus at LMU, we have a wide variety of students and interest in research being done. So it's great to see a lot of our programs and colleges be able to collaborate with each other and work hand in hand. Something that's very important to LMU is our mission. So we are a Jesuit institution, and at our university, none of our graduate students have to participate in any religious activities, but they are there if you are interested in participating. And being a Jesuit institution, our mission is the encouragement of learning, the education of the whole person, the service of faith, and promotion of justice. And this is really important to us because we don't want to just educate our students in strong academia. We also really want to shape them and help them grow as a person. We want our students to be able to go out into the world and do better and do good for their communities. We want them to be making changes and critically thinking to really help the communities they're going back to. We truly do incorporate ethics and morals into our research that we're doing on campus, and that really stems from the Jesuit traditions at LMU. A little bit about our rankings and our numbers. So we do have a handful of national rankings out there. As you can see from these numbers here, number 77, the US News and World Report, number 90 in the Wall Street Journal. And then we also ranked at number 6 for the best science lab facilities on campus. So as a lot of you are interested in, computer science and in the engineering fields, we do have fabulous facilities on campus for our students to do their research and be able to get that hands-on experience in a really high-tech lab. As for our student population, we do have a little over 10,000 students on campus, so about a mid-sized institution here in the US. A majority are undergraduate students, but we also have 1,700 graduate students. That law school number is a little off, but it is 1,100 graduate or law school students. They are kind of counted separately because our law school students are on a separate campus. But then we also have 10% of our student population are international students. So we are very open, diverse campus. We have students from over 90 countries at LMU. So it's really fabulous to see if you're interested, wanting to maybe potentially come to the US and study with us too. You would be joining a very diverse international community at LMU. So a little bit about where we're located. So that nice green field there, that is LMU. We are technically on the west side of Los Angeles. Some important things that we are near. We are near the Hollywood sign. Actually, if you stand on the edge of campus, you can see the Hollywood sign. You can kind of see my Zoom background here. This is what we call the bluff of LMU. When you stand on it, it overlooks the Hollywood Hills. It overlooks Malibu. You can see the ocean. You can see Santa Monica. It's a very beautiful place to study and work. We are near the Santa Monica Pier. That is a very close drive for our students. We're about a 10-minute drive from the beach, which is also really wonderful, something our students get to enjoy in their spare time. And then we're also near Disneyland. So that is close. That is a big attraction for a lot of people. It's a very fun location that LMU is in. But then importantly, we are also near what we call Silicon Beach. So Silicon Beach is the home to a lot of big corporations, a lot of big aerospace corporations too, such as Boeing, Northrop Grumman, Aerospace Corps, Facebook, Yahoo, Google all have big headquarters down in Silicon Beach too. So our students are really in the heart of the technology community in LA, which is really wonderful. You're right down the street from all of it. So you have the opportunity to kind of network and engage with people in the industry just being in the LMU area. Some of our top employers across the board between our business analytics programs and our science and engineering programs, our students are being recruited from big companies here in California and the US in general. So it's great to see our students succeeding, and a lot of our students are able to get internships and do capstone projects with some of these companies before they even graduate LMU. So here are STEM designated programs. So we do have 3 in our College of Business and Business Administration, which Dr. Mangal teaches in. So she teaches within our business analytics program. Also our accounting and taxation programs are STEM designated. And then within our College of Science and Engineering, we have our civil engineering, computer science, electrical engineering, environmental science, and mechanical engineering programs. So we do have a wide variety of programs that are considered STEM designated, which does provide you with that extra OPT in the US. So a little bit about the admission requirements. We do require a bachelor's degree. We look for about a 3.0 GPA or higher. We usually require a resume, a personal statement, letters of recommendation for some of the programs are required. We do need an official transcript and an official transcript evaluation from a US-based evaluation company. And then for language proficiency, we do accept TOEFL, IELTS, and Duolingo. And then if you do plan on applying to LMU, you can see the application fee waiver down at the bottom for our wonderful seed partners. It is seed in capital letters. So when you are filling out your application, you can put that in the promo code area and it will automatically waive that application fee for you. The GRE or GMAT is not required. For our business analytics program, if you have a 3.3 or lower, they do recommend it, but it is not required for any of our science and engineering programs. And then I know we are close to the end of time, so I do want to be respectful of your time. So if you have any questions after this is my contact information. Please feel free to send me an email. I am happy to jump on a call with you or respond via email and be able to help you in whatever way I can.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Emily. I am sure all or most of the audience present today is already California dreaming and is looking at LMU as an option. So if if you wish, we can even drop your contact details in the chat window for those of you who can still see. Emily is sharing her screen. Her email ID is mentioned there, so you can connect with her. We have a few questions regarding, of course, the same what you just spoke about. So a lot of questions are revolving around the programs which are offered by LMU. You did speak to us in detail about them, but if you would like to do a quick run through about which are the different programs, if you want to reshare your slide and go, because we have quite a few students who are interested in knowing which are the different programs that you have to offer.
Of course. I'll pull up that slide one more time for everyone. I know I went through it briefly.
Correct.
So we do so some of the programs, depending on what you're interested in, some of the programs, are more tailored to potentially what your interest is. So I know a lot of people mentioned computer science. So I'll start with that one. So within our computer science program, how the curriculum actually works is there are 3 required courses. And after those 3 required courses, you do get to choose 7 of your electives. So whatever area you are interested in, whether it be AI, Internet of Things, whether it be data, you get to choose those extra electives. So our computer science program is it's general. It lets you make it what you want to make it, which I think is really important because as you can see from your questions that are rolling in, it's such a wide topic now. So it's great to have a broad degree, but then you get to focus on what you want to learn while in the program. So that's something that's really great about our program is you get to make what you want of it. And then same with our computer engineering program. There are 4 required courses, and you can take all of your electives within the computer engineering field, or you can take electives within other fields. So you can take computer science electives or electrical engineering electives. Once again, a perk of LMU is we are a very small, close-knit school. So all of our faculty are working hand in hand. All of our departments are working very close with one another. So they allow you to kind of take courses from other departments if that is what your personal interest is. The education of the whole person means we want you to educate yourself in whatever way you want to gain that information and whatever information you want to gain. So that's something that's really special about LMU.
Thank you so much, Emily. There are a few. So a couple of students want to know, do you offer any dual degree programs?
Yes, so we actually offer dual degree programs with all of our science and engineering graduate programs. They all can be a dual degree program with our MBA program. So even though the MBA is not on our STEM designated list, we do have an MBA program. I do know that Dr. Mangal teaches within it too. So I know that the class she was talking about is also offered to MBA students. I do have a graduate assistant myself who is enrolled in the class. They are in the MBA program. So you can get your MSc and your MBA. If you do it full time, it takes about 3 years.
Great. Thank you so much, Emily. So I'm going to now quickly move on to the other set of questions that a few students have asked. We are kind of done with our time, but I'm sure we can spare another 5 or 10 minutes and take up a few questions quickly. The one which is coming up, I see a few questions have asked, is about the GRE requirement. Is the GRE compulsory, or is it being waived off for international students at LMU?
Yes. So for all of our Seaver College of Science and Engineering programs, it is not required. So you do not have to submit it at all. For our College of Business Administration, it's only encouraged if you have a lower GPA. But it's encouraged, it's still not required.
Great. So I hope that answers the questions about the GRE. We have another question from someone about their GPA. You mentioned that you all are looking for students with a 3.0 and higher GPA. What they want to know is, if someone has a GPA which is lower than 3.0, should they apply, and can they hope for a positive response? Is there anything that they could sort of do to make up for that gap in their profile, or how can they go about with that?
Yeah, definitely. We do complete a holistic application review. So it's not just the GPA we look at. We do look at your resume and your work experience and your personal statement. Um, what's really important is that you received high grade marks in the courses that relate to your field of interest, so that sometimes students might get lower marks in courses that don't really relate to their major. So we do want to kind of see those high grade marks in your major, higher upper level classes that kind of lead into your professional career. So we do a holistic review of your application and your transcripts.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Emily. There was a similar question from someone about their Duolingo score as well. If they've got a 140 out of a 160, would it be something similar for them as well to work on their overall profile?
Yes, let me look at one thing so I don't misspeak. I do not know the Duolingo requirement off the top of my head, but I can find it extremely quickly.
No problem.
So for our we do require a 130 or higher for Duolingo for our College of Business Administration, and then a 120 or higher for our College of Science and Engineering.
Great, David. I hope that answers your question. You have a 140 out of 160 on your Duolingo. I am going to be taking my next question by Kasi. And there was a similar question when I did refer to the question with Dr. Mangal about the career services bit and how does it help international students at LMU. So Kasi wants to know, how does the university balance theoretical knowledge with practical hands-on experience, given that the context revolves a lot around digital transformation in most of the subjects that have been offered? And someone else also wanted to know, what are the career services options that you offer students who come to LMU?
Course. So at LMU, we have an office that's dedicated just to helping our students get internships and jobs after. It's called Career and Professional Development. We call it CPD. So when I refer to it like that, that's what it means. So our CPD office has one-on-one career coaches for every college. So you will have either the College of Business Administration or the Seaver College of Science and Engineering. They have their own career coaches that are experts within your industry, and they'll be able to coach you one-on-one, review your resume, do mock interviews with you, and really prepare you to go off into, the professional world. But also they can connect you with contacts. So the CPD puts on events, like networking events for every college at different times of the year. So they will be able to bring in hiring managers from specific companies who do presentations to groups of students, or they'll be able to put on, cocktail receptions or, meet and greet opportunities for different programs with different companies. So there are a handful of ways to connect with LMU's contacts. Also, the LMU alumni network is really important. So we do have, thousands and thousands of alumni since we have been around for so long. And we actually have our own internal LMU LinkedIn. We call it the Pride. And it has all of our alumni on there and our faculty and our staff. It shows, where they work. So if there is an alumni you are interested in maybe working at their same company, we have a platform for you to be able to reach out, email them, connect with them, to make those connections yourself. So if there's a company that you really are interested in working at or getting an internship opportunity at, that's a great way to be able to connect with LMU alumni themselves. Also, what's really interesting about our programs is you can do a master, like a thesis to graduate, to do your own research, or you can do a capstone project. And a lot of our students who complete capstone projects actually are solving problems within companies in LA. So they are pairing with Aerospace Corps, or they're pairing with, I know a student recently did Qdoba or Fandango, which is a movie ticket website here. And they are going to these companies and being like, I think there's a problem and I want to solve it for you. So your coursework is actually done within real companies here. And a lot of our companies just hire those students right after because they did such a fabulous job on their capstone project. So there's a lot of ways to really engage and connect within the LMU or the LA community while you're at LMU.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Emily. That was really insightful. Just an add-on question to that. Are master's students considered for assistantship positions at LMU University?
Yes. So we have a wide variety of assistantships. So there's, research assistantships if you're interested in doing research. There are teaching assistantships. Usually after you take a class the next semester, you'll be eligible to be a teaching assistant for that past class. And then we have regular graduate assistantships, which the graduate assistants are working within offices on LMU's campus. So as I kind of mentioned before, I have 2 international graduate assistants myself who work with me on recruitment, events on campus, student outreach, emails. Our international admission office has, I think, 4 graduate assistants. Career and professional development has graduate assistants. So there are a lot of grads working on campus in different departments.
Great. Thank you. Kelvin, I hope that answers your question. I know there are quite a few questions. I'm just going to take 2 frequently sort of asked questions, which a few of them have asked. One is, of course, about any scholarships that LMU has offers their various students. Also, someone wants to know if there are any specific scholarships for students with disabilities.
Yes, so scholarships vary per college. So for our College of Business Administration, they have merit-based scholarships based off your application. So when you apply, if accepted, you would be sent a scholarship award at the same time as your acceptance or right after your acceptance. The College of Science and Engineering, after your acceptance, there's a merit scholarship application you complete. And you can complete that, and then you'd be notified if you're awarded a scholarship. For the College of Science and Engineering, there are also need-based scholarships, which you can apply for once you are admitted to the program too. And then there's a lot of outside scholarships. So we have I can drop our link to our financial aid website. There is a recommended website, I think it's called Scholarship Universe, for students to search and find outside scholarships. And then we also have fellowships. We have an Office of National and International Fellowships. So if you are interested in gaining a fellowship while at LMU, we have a whole office that's dedicated to helping you find fellowships and work with you through that application process.
Thank you. I hope that answers all of your questions. Emily has dropped the link in the chat window. So for all of you, you can visit the site and get more information from there. My last question for this evening, Emily, is something which a lot of students always ask, and that is a 3-year degree, which is 15 years of study, eligible to apply for any of the MS programs at LMU?
Yes. So as I mentioned, the admission requirements, we do require a transcript evaluation. And as long as your transcript evaluation states that your degree is equivalent to the degree in the US, however many years it took you to complete it, it's okay. So that is really that's the indicator for us. So it's okay if it's only 3 years.
So thank you. So you do accept a 3-year degree and you do require a transcript evaluation as well. On that note, I know there are a few questions which are still remaining, but we would have to end the session. You do have the contact details for LMU University. Emily has been kind enough to answer our questions, drop her email address as well. So I'm sure all of you can connect with her directly. If you have any questions or are looking for anything else, you can connect with us at Seed Global Education, and we will be happy to help you. Thank you so much, Emily, for joining us and for answering all of those questions and giving us an overview about LMU. Also, thank you for all of you participants, 150 of you who are still in the room, for being with us today. And we hope you've gained some wonderful insights from the session. So thanks, everyone, once again.
Thank
Bye.
you all.
Bye.